Why is boxing raking in sky-high paydays while UFC fighters scrape for scraps? Let's break it down. No fluff, just facts. You've seen the headlines. A boxer steps into the ring, fights for 36 minutes, and walks away with $20 million. Meanwhile, a UFC fighter goes through a brutal 5-round war and might take home $200K if they're lucky and high on the card. So why is one combat sport throwing around mountains of cash while the other hands out breadcrumbs? Here's the cold hard truth. The biggest reason? Revenue split. In boxing, fighters regularly take home 50% or more of the event's total earnings. Stars like Canelo Alvarez or Tyson Fury. They can push that to 60–70% because they are the event. They negotiate directly with promoters and networks and walk with millions. UFC fighters, they get about 16% to 20% of total revenue. The UFC keeps the rest. It's not even close. Then there's fighter independence. Boxers are free agents. They can fight for whoever they want, negotiate their own deals, and work with multiple promoters. They have control over their careers. UFC fighters, on the other hand, sign exclusive contracts that lock them down. The UFC tells them who to fight, when, where, and for how much. No leverage, no power, just sign the deal and shut up. That leads to the next point: competition. Boxing has dozens of promoters. Top Rank, Matchroom, PBC, Golden Boy, all battling to sign and pay top talent. That competition drives fighter pay up. UFC, it's a monopoly. One brand owns the cage, the belts, the marketing, the fighters. No competition, no pressure to pay more. And let's not forget pay-per-view structure. In boxing, top fighters get a direct cut of PPV revenue. That's where the real money comes in. Floyd Mayweather made over $100 million in a single night from this model. Even lesser-known boxers can cash out when the numbers are strong. In the UFC, only the biggest names, think Conor McGregor or John Jones, see a slice of PPV. Everyone else? Fixed bonuses. No matter how well the event sells, most fighters don't see a cent beyond their contract. Now look at how each sport treats its stars. In boxing, the fighter is the brand. You buy a ticket to see Canelo, not Matchroom Boxing. But in the UFC, the brand is the star. It doesn't matter who's fighting. UFC markets itself, not its athletes. Fighters are treated like parts of a machine. One goes down, another steps in. That's how Dana White designed it. And that's how they keep fighter pay low. Finally, there's no union in the UFC, no collective bargaining, no real pushback. Fighters can't strike, they can't band together. And if someone speaks up, they get buried, cut, or quietly benched. Boxers don't have a union either, but their independence gives them power. They can sit out, walk away, or go where the money is. Boxing pays because boxers have leverage. UFC underpays because it doesn't have to. That's the brutal truth. Until UFC fighters organize, gain leverage, or force structural change, they'll keep fighting harder for less, while the suits at the top keep cashing in. One guy pockets $100 million for a single fight. The other, maybe 20 grand for a win. Sounds insane, right? Here's why boxing paydays dwarf UFC purses every single time. Let's be real, the gap isn't just big, it's disrespectful. On one side, you've got elite boxers like Floyd Mayweather, who've made 9 figures in a night. That's 100 million pluses for 36 minutes of work. On the other side, a UFC fighter, bleeding, broken, and battered, might walk away with 20K on to show and another 20K to win, before taxes, coaches, and management take their cuts. So, how the hell does this make sense? Let's break it down. Why boxing fighters get paid and UFC fighters don't. Follow the money. Let's break down exactly why boxers take home millions while UFC fighters are scraping by. Pay-per-view, PPV, payouts. Boxing was built on PPV. When fans drop $100 on a mega fight like Mayweather versus Pacquiao, a chunk goes straight to the fighters. That 2015 bout pulled in over 4 million buys, grossing $400 million, and Floyd alone walked off with around $220 million. In the UFC, only the top 1% get a small PPV cut. The rest? Flat fees and performance bonuses that don't scale with sales. Sponsorships and endorsements. Boxers are free agents when it comes to sponsors. They wear what they want, sign personal deals, and pocket 100% of it. UFC fighters? Not so lucky. Since the Reebok and now VTG deal, fighters can't show individual sponsor logos in the octagon. Everything funnels through the UFC, and the fighters get crumbs. Live gate and broadcast rights. Big boxing events fill entire stadiums. Just the live gate, tickets alone, can hit 40 million plus on fight night. Add in international broadcast deals and media rights, and the revenue explodes. In boxing, a solid chunk of that cash goes to the fighters via promoter deals. In the UFC, the org keeps most of it. Fighters get none of the global licensing goldmine. Why UFC fighters get paid less? It's the business model, not the skill. Let's be clear, this isn't about talent. It's about structure, and the UFC's system is designed to control costs, not reward fighters. Fixed contracts, minimal. Upside, most UFC fighters are locked into rigid contracts. You get a flat fee to show and a bonus if you win. Even top contenders might walk away with $50K, $100K per fight. Champions? Maybe up to $1 million. But if you're on the undercard, you're grinding for $20K to show, $20K to win, and that's before taxes, gym fees, manager cuts, and medicals. You're lucky to break even. No real cut of PPV. In boxing, PPV money makes the fighter. In the UFC, it stays with the company. Only megastars like Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey have ever gotten a piece of the pie, and even then, it's tightly controlled. The rest? 0%. Doesn't matter how many people you draw. You get paid the same. UFC owns the whole game. Here's the real difference. Boxers are independent contractors. They negotiate fight to fight. It's risky, but they keep what they earn. UFC fighters, they're treated like full-time employees without benefits. The UFC owns the brand, the belts, the events, the marketing, and the fighters are just pieces on the board. You show up, you fight, you get what they tell you. Boxers negotiate. UFC fighters get what they're given. Here's where the money power shift becomes crystal clear. Leverage. Boxers have real negotiation power. In boxing, if you're a draw, think Canelo, Fury, or Tank Davis, you call the shots. You pack arenas, drive millions in PPV, light up social media, and your team sits at the table with promoters to split the pot, often 60–70% of total revenue. Your brand is the product, and you get paid like it. 2. UFC fighters? Take it or leave it. In the UFC, there's no table, just a contract. You're offered a number, you sign it, or they move on to the next hungry prospect. No cut of the gate, no say in the revenue, no chance to negotiate like a true business partner. Even top 10 fighters are replaceable in the UFC machine. The power dynamic is completely different. It's promoter versus fighter in boxing. You can walk, negotiate, shop around. In the UFC, it's league versus fighter. You're locked into a brand-controlled system. They own the show, the spotlight, and the stage. You just show up and fight. Boxing creates legends. UFC creates volume. When it comes to star power and event impact, the gap is massive and strategic. Boxing runs on superstars. Boxing doesn't just build fighters, it builds icons. Think Ali, Tyson, Mayweather. These aren't just athletes, they're cultural events. Their fights pull in everyone, from hardcore fans to casual viewers who've never watched a round in their life. That level of crossover fame commands massive paydays. UFC runs on depth, not stars. UFC is built for consistency, not spectacle. Their biggest names, Jon Jones, Khabib, Adesanya, are huge inside the sport, but barely move the needle in the mainstream. Outside MMA fans, most people couldn't even name the current champions. Frequency kills hype. UFC puts on 40+ events a year. That's great for hardcore fans, but it waters down the product. There's always another fight next weekend. Boxing, on the other hand, drops 4 to 6 massive cards a year, each hyped to the max. Scarcity builds anticipation. Anticipation drives higher prices and bigger purses. Why boxing pays more? And it's not even close. At the end of the day, it's simple. Boxing pays more because it gives more. Fighters negotiate their own deals, take a bigger cut of the revenue, and become global icons. The system is built to reward the individual. UFC. It's a business-first model, fixed contracts, tight control, and a factory line of fighters. Great for the company, terrible for fighter pay. You can train like a beast in either sport, but in boxing, you might walk away with millions. In the UFC, you'll be lucky to pay off your training camp.